Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. This week, we're going to continue our exploration of the Priestess wound, but we're taking the conversation to a slightly different direction. Because one of the biggest questions I hear from spiritually aware women is, I know I'm here for more. Why am I still holding myself back? Why am I still not as visible as perhaps I thought I would be? So you know that you have gifts, you know that you are here to help people, you know that you're here for a purpose. You may even have a business already, and yet you find yourself hesitating, second guessing yourself, overthinking, holding back your voice, holding back your visibility, and holding back your leadership. You watch other people doing the very thing that you know you're capable of doing. You have ideas, you have wisdom, you have experience, and yet something inside just keeps pulling you back. Now, on the surface, it can look like a confidence issue, but actually it is going a lot deeper. It's not just a visibility issue or a business issue. Often what you're actually looking at is something that is running a lot deeper, and it's a wound around leadership itself. It's a wound around being seen, which we've talked about a little bit over the past few weeks, but it's also a wound around what it means to step into your power and allow others to follow your guidance. Because many spiritual women or spiritually aware women are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of what success will require from them and what success will look like. They are afraid of being visible. They're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of disappointing people, and they're afraid of being misunderstood. And sometimes they're afraid of becoming the very leader their soul came here to be. So this week, I asked the Akashic Soul Alchemy Oracle, what ancestral or learned beliefs about leadership are holding you back? What truth is your soul trying to remember? What emotional pattern is ready to be healed? And what shift is available now? And what becomes possible when we finally stop hiding and step into our soul-led leadership? As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Trust your intuition, and let's see what the cards would like us to know this week. Okay, so the overall question is, what is stopping me from stepping fully into my leadership? Okay, and we'll see what the cards have to say about this. Okay, so let's have a look. So the first question is, what ancestral or learned belief about leadership is holding you back? Now, many spiritually aware women know that they have gifts. They know that they're here to help people. They know they're here for something bigger. But when it comes to fully stepping into their leadership within their business, something happens. They hesitate, they overthink, they stay hidden, they delay taking action. So before we look at the cards, maybe ask yourself, what will success cost you, or what will stepping into your leadership cost you? Will it cost you your freedom? Will it cost you your relationship? Will it cost you peace? Will it bring criticism or judgment? Because often these beliefs don't begin with us. They are inherited, they're learned, they're conditioned, they're passed down through families, through communities, and through generations. Okay, so we have two cards. We have limitations and soul contracts. So this feels like a very old story that is at play at the moment. And a story that says leadership comes at a price. That visibility creates problems. That standing out perhaps makes life even harder. So the soul contracts card suggests that there may be a deeper agreement operating beneath the surface. An unconscious belief that says, if I lead, I will be judged. If I become successful, people will leave. If I become visible, I will attract criticism. Or if I step into my power, life will become difficult. So at some point you made an agreement to stay small, to not be visible, to hide your gifts. And ultimately, these contracts that you have made are keeping you safe, right? You have made soul contracts to keep your safety, your security, and all of those things. And they would have served you in past lives, but in this lifetime, your soul is yearning for you to step out into your leadership. So they are holding you back. They are keeping you stuck in this energy, right? And then we also have the limitation card. And limitation card shows us what happens when we continue believing these stories. We begin creating invisible ceilings for ourselves. We limit our impact. We limit our income. We limit our visibility. We limit our growth, right? Not because we lack knowledge or wisdom or ability or any of those things, but because part of us believes it is safer to remain where we are, right? So beliefs and safety are really, really important here. The priestess wound often tells us stay small and you'll stay safe, right? So the contracts that you have in place are creating that safety for you. But the cards are asking us to question whether that story is actually true. Are we safer to stay small? Are we safer to limit our exposure, to limit our visibility, to limit our income? So there is some work to do here around uncovering what soul contracts you have in place and what limitations, so what beliefs also are you carrying around being a leader, being that leader that you came here to be. So the second question is, what truth is our soul trying to remember right now? So what truth is your soul trying to remember right now? And again, we have two cards. So when we're carrying the priestess wound, we can become so focused on what's holding us back that we forget who we truly are. We forget why we came here. We forget our gifts. We forget our purpose. We forget the impact that we are capable of creating. So for a moment, maybe think about, what if the problem isn't that you're not ready? Because a lot of us make the excuses that, we're not ready. We need more education, more courses, more accreditation, that kind of thing. Or, we need to do XYZ before we are ready to really step into our power, into our leadership, right? So ask the question, what if the problem isn't that you're not ready, right? Because we can hold ourselves back by believing or thinking or feeling that we are not ready for something, and we will never be ready, right? We don't need to be ready to step fully into the next step, right? So I'd love to know what comes up there, because that's really, really interesting with the cards that have come up. So what if you've simply forgotten something important about yourself? So let's see what your soul wants you to remember. So first we have divine service. So these are two amazing cards that have come up for this, right? Your soul is reminding you that your business isn't just a business. It's a vehicle for service, right? It's a vehicle for supporting others. It's a way for your gifts to reach the people that really need them. The divine service card reminds us that we're here to contribute to the world. We're here to help. We're here to guide. We're here to share. And we are here to serve. And the soul gifts card reminds us that we already possess what it is that we need. We don't need to become someone else. We don't need another certificate. We also don't need permission. Your soul is asking you to remember. Okay, you already have the gifts that can help others. You already have the wisdom worth sharing. You already have experiences that can support someone else's journey, right? You are more ready than you believe. And this wound really wants you to focus on what's missing. Your soul wants you to focus on what is already present. Okay, that's a really, really important distinction, right? The wound is always asking you, what's missing, right? It's creating blockages that are stopping you from fully remembering who you are, from stopping you from stepping into that leadership, from stepping into that full visibility, that full self-expression, right? But your soul wants you to focus on what is already present. What do you already have? What can you already feel? What can you already share? Okay? So let me know how that card or those cards resonate with you. Right, and what emotional pattern is keeping us small? So here we have a couple of cards. So this is where we move into the heart of the priestess wound, because leadership isn't usually blocked by lack of knowledge, it's blocked by emotion. Everything around the priestess wound is about emotional safety. So we may fear judgment, we may fear disappointing people, we may fear being misunderstood or losing connections, or a vast array of different things. So you could ask yourself at this point, who might you become if you fully stepped into your own power? And perhaps more importantly, who might not like it? Okay. And the reason we're asking these questions is because of the cards that have come up. We have the soulmate connection and forgiveness, right? So it does feel very deeply connected to relationships, not necessarily romantic relationships. Soulmates are not always romantic, right? This could be any relationship. It could be family, friends, business partner, community, past clients, or people who have known you as a previous version of yourself. And one of the greatest fears that women carry is what happens if people don't come with me? What happens if I up level and they don't? Okay. So the soulmate card and the relationship card in general is really, really important. And it suggests that there may be emotional attachments that are keeping you connected to an older identity of yourself, because that feels safe. It feels familiar. It feels accepted. Right? And the forgiveness card suggests that there may also be experiences that need healing. Perhaps someone dismissed your gifts. Perhaps someone criticized your dreams or made you feel small, or taught you that success was selfish, or someone made you question your worth. These all come down to relationships and the relationships that we have around us and the impact that they can have on us in moving our lives forwards, but moving into that leadership, moving into the leader that you are here to be. So these cards are really asking you to look at those relationships, because they are it is time for them to be looked at, right? Some of the experiences, like, someone dismissing your gifts or criticizing your dreams, right? They may well have happened, right? But they are long gone, right? The emotional imprint still remains. So it's that emotional imprint that we need to look at, and we need to release the stories that that came with them. And that's not to say that what happened was okay. We're working with this because you deserve freedom. You deserve to step into that next level version. You deserve to step into the leader that you came here to be. Okay, so the next question is, what shift is available to you now? So once we become aware of the pattern, everything begins to change, because awareness creates choice, and choice creates transformation. So the question now becomes, what if leadership didn't have to be hard? What if success didn't require sacrifice? What if visibility didn't require burnout? So the cards that have come up are balance and flow, okay, the card that came up, sorry, was balance and flow. So this feels like a breath of fresh air. Many women consciously believe that leadership requires exhaustion, that success requires struggle, that growth requires sacrifice. But balance and flow tells us something very different. It tells us that we don't need to force, we don't need to hustle, we don't need to prove ourselves, and we don't need to carry everything alone. We can lead from alignment, right? We can grow sustainably. You can create success in a way that honors your energy, right? The old paradigm tells us to push harder, to hustle, to be in our business 24/7, 24/7, right? To constantly be showing up, to constantly be pushing harder. This card is telling us to trust deeper, right? To trust that alignment, to trust our gifts, our knowledge, our wisdom, our intuition, in order to help us to step into our leadership without the burnout, without the hustle, without the sacrifice. So the next card, or the next question, is what becomes possible when we finally embrace leadership? So what becomes possible when we finally embrace our leadership? This is probably one of the favorite questions. So because we often focus so much on what we are afraid of, we never stop to ask, what am I missing out on by staying hidden? What opportunities are waiting for me? What impact could I create? And what life am I delaying? So let's see what becomes possible when we stop shrinking and start leading, right? These are really, really beautiful cards because they tell me your next level already exists. Your future clients already exist. Your future opportunities, the future impact that you want to create, they already exist. The growth and up level card shows expansion, momentum, evolution, the next version of yourself waiting to emerge. And the divine timing card reminds us that nothing is late, nothing has been missed. You are where you're meant to be, you are not behind. The lesson here is not work harder, the lesson here is stop hiding. Because when you release the limitations that you have been holding on to, right, and you stop questioning yourself and you remember your gifts, when you heal the emotional wounds and trust the flow, growth becomes inevitable. And perhaps that is the biggest message of this reading. You're not being called to become a leader. You are being called to remember that you already are one. What a powerful message. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this reading, is that you're not broken, you're not lacking, you're not failing, and you're certainly not behind. So many spiritually aware women spend years trying to fix themselves, trying to become more confident, more visible, more successful, more ready. When often the real work is not about becoming something more, it's about releasing the stories that have convinced you that you are less. This reading has shown us many patterns holding us back are not actually about our ability to lead. They're about what beliefs we've inherited, the limitations that we have accepted, the fears that we carry, and the emotional wounds that have taught us it is safer to stay small. But your soul remembers something different. Your soul remembers your gifts. It remembers your purpose. It remembers why you came here. And perhaps the reason you've been feeling restless lately is the reason that you've been feeling the pull for more. The reason you know that there's another level waiting for you is because your soul is ready. Ready to stop hiding, ready to stop shrinking, ready to stop waiting for permission, and ready to trust yourself. And leadership doesn't mean becoming someone that you're not. Leadership means becoming more of who you truly are. It's allowing yourself to be seen. It's allowing you to share your gifts, to share your wisdom. And it's allowing you to create the impact that you came here to create. So as we move through this week, I invite you to reflect on one simple question. Where am I holding myself back from the leader that I know I am meant to be? And perhaps even more importantly, what would become possible if I stopped holding myself back? So I'd love to know what resonated with you the most from today's reading. Which card really spoke to you? What message landed really deeply? Let me know in the comments. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share the video with them. And if you're ready to go deeper into this work, I've recently created a number of new Priestess Wound resources, activations and healing journeys, all designed to help you uncover the hidden patterns that may be keeping you stuck. You'll find the links below. If you're ready to work more deeply with the Akashic Soul Alchemy Oracle deck, I've also linked that below as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time with me. And remember, your voice matters, your gifts matter, and your leadership matters. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Ciao for now.